if I were listening and I were a loan officer or I were a real estate agent. I would be so loud on social. I would be so masterful on Insta because my gosh, it's a powerful tool. And what you need to see it as is it is an instrument to get you into face-to-face conversations. And that's your business.
Welcome to the Coffee and Questions podcast. I am your host, Michelle Berman-Michael, and my mission with this podcast is simple: to help realtors and loan officers across the world tap into the value Instagram can have for them and their business. To me, organic business that comes to us is the name of the game. On this show, you're going to hear from myself, other experts across social media, and also others that are just like you, selling real estate and doing loans and doing it at a high level on social media. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Coffee and Questions podcast. Today, I am joined by a new friend and someone who I have an just incredible amount of respect for, and also someone who I truly just see as being a really amazing human. I am joined by Daniel Harkavy. He is the CEO and founder of Building Champions. Many of you guys might know of Building Champions. What we really want to talk about, and one of the main core focuses of this episode, was your ability to create change. So you obviously work with an individual LO, you work at the enterprise level, you work at the corporate level. I mean, anywhere in between, if we want to create change, right? You're the man to help us do that. So what I want to talk about specifically is the mindset that it requires to create change. And I think that we're in an industry, or we're talking to an industry right now that is struggling mentally and their bottom line on both sides of that. They're definitely struggling a little bit. And I just want you to pour into them. And I think that now it couldn't be more of a better time to talk about what does our brain have to do in order to pivot in a time that is going to require that change of us.
When we're looking at transformation and change, what we're wanting to affect a better tomorrow. Nobody wants to go through transformation and change to create a worse tomorrow, right? So the reason that people want to change is they've had enough, they've heard enough, or they've hurt enough. And you get to a point where it's like, I need to change, or I want to change because I know there's more and I want to get to that destination of being, or this destination of being is really uncomfortable. And I know I can be more. So a whole bunch of thoughts, but on the whole faith thing, I would just say that we were designed in a pretty miraculous way. And I've seen such transformation in the lives of humans, and I've seen such extraordinary things done by ordinary men and women, people just like you and me, all sorts of different backgrounds. There's no such thing as the right side of the tracks. There's no such thing as the right pedigree. I've seen amazing things done by all sorts of human beings who have all sorts of stories. They've come from all sorts of backgrounds. And for everybody listening, what I would want you to hear is that you're qualified. You're not disqualified. You're qualified. You have what it takes. It requires some transformational work, but you just asked a huge question with regards to transformation. I'll just land on one point, and that is people change when they believe they can. The number one thing required for somebody to accomplish a goal is they need to believe they can. It's not that they write it down and tell somebody. Deep down inside, you need to believe you have the ability to do it.
The biggest thing I heard you say, and I want to speak this out as I think it will lead us to the next point, which is change. A lot of times we want to focus on skills, right? So we're like, I need to buy this, or I need to go read this book, right? We focus on hard skills versus the soft skills. So the soft skills are what operates on the inside of us. Can we figure out who we really need to be in that moment, whether it's as a boss, whether it's as an employee, whether it's as a loan officer on the other end of the phone to the person that we're talking to that is deciding whether or not they want to buy or sell a house. Who do we need to be in order to create that part on the outside? So I think a lot of people listening here, they race towards, let me go buy this, the next best thing, kind of the shiny object syndrome of how to get better at systems and processes and this and that. And what they fail to realize is that the biggest piece of change that they actually really need isn't in any of all of that. It's on the inside.
Absolutely spot on. That inside then leads to the behaviors that get you the results.
I love this. And we could honestly talk just in that category, I feel like, for hours, but I do want to make a slight shift towards being able to now apply a lot of what we're talking about to the Instagram side of things. Now, most people,
Sure.
anybody who knows me knows that my specialty is Instagram. And if you look at Daniel's Instagram right now, right, and if you scroll back farther down, you will see that at one point you were very, very active, really good at showing up and being personal and creating a relationship with your audience. And then that kind of went away for a while. And now after meeting me, we've created a little bit of a shift in your mind too about how to deliver that. But will you talk to us about the lull? Why and how did you end up there and then get out of that? And then secondly, for those people who are wanting to utilize Instagram and they understand the power of it now, how do we create the change in their minds to get to that uncomfortable place? Because I think I put you in that uncomfortable place a couple of weeks ago, as far as
You did.
thoughts, right? So how can we get somebody to that uncomfortable place and then actually make them take action?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'll say you are masterful. You did a great job with that audience, and you definitely got me to see, and I've seen it, but you were this catalyst that caused me to see. If you were to look on my board right now, under building champions and under set path. So I've got all of these different categories on a whiteboard, but under building champions and under set path, I have a get loud plan. When I get loud, what it means is that I'm sharing content and perspective in a B2C way through digital, through social. My philosophy pre-2020 was LinkedIn, very professional. Facebook, a combination of professional and personal. Instagram, very personal. That was my kind of methodology. When I do videos, people on my team make them show up on YouTube. Okay, cool. I think I understand it all. Not so much. So towards the end of 19, I felt this, get loud, Daniel, get loud. And I hadn't been loud in a while. And at the beginning of 2020, I started just sharing quite a bit of content. March of 2020 hits, and I start a Leading in Difficult Times video series where every day I'm dropping some leadership thoughts. 6 days out of the week are business focused. 1 day out of the week is just life, faith, big picture focused. And boy, that opened a ton of doors. And we had corporations coming to us saying, hey, can you do that for our company? Could we just create something private around your Leading in Difficult Times thoughts for our top leaders? Because remember, I mean, March through really December of 2020, everyone was like, oh my gosh, how do we do this? So I was pretty loud for a period of time. There were some then challenges towards the end of 20 and into 2021 that took place on the personal side. And it was in that realm to where I had to really hyper focus. So what I did in 2021 was I had to do something that I coach, and that is I had to say no to the good so I could say yes to the great. And I made a conscious decision to shut down my social media presence. That doesn't mean I got rid of my accounts. It just meant I didn't have the energy or the time to have the conversations with all the beautiful people that I would have conversations with through social. I just didn't have, there were only so many hours in the day.
Yep.
So say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. I didn't want to hand that off to anybody else. I felt like that wouldn't be authentic or genuine. So I basically went quiet, and I've been quiet for about a year and a half. I haven't posted anything. I haven't posted pictures of surf trips or, pictures of grandbabies or business thoughts. I've really been quiet because I'm hyper focused on leading this company and launching Set Path, which is all around transferring hope, belief, and direction to America's young adults. So I am fully consumed, but I've made some leadership changes, and I'm changing my role a bit so that I can get loud and share content to help more people, because really that's the way I see it. All right, now let me shift. If I were listening to you right now, listening to us, and I were a loan officer, or I were a real estate agent, or I were a branch manager, I would be so loud on social. I would be so masterful on Insta because my gosh, it's a powerful tool. And what you need to see it as is it is an instrument to get you into face-to-face conversations. And that's your business. Your business is all about more face-to-face conversations to where you create solutions for people who have housing or finance needs. So any tool you can use to create that human connection that causes more people to want to meet with you, that opens the door for you to sit down with people, understand what their wants are, their fears are, their dreams are, their needs are, and for you to be the solution master, that's how you win. It's all about more face-to-face appointments. So I would be using Instagram, I would be using Facebook, I would be using LinkedIn, I would be using all of it to create more personal connection so that I could fill my days with more face-to-face appointments. People, that's how you win in today's times. If I can look at how many face-to-face appointments you have and I see the quality of those, I can tell you what kind of next 3 to 5 years you're going to have.
Quality over quantity is so important. And I think a lot of people focus on how many calls can I do every day so that I'm talking to enough people because I know what my sales funnel looks like, right? Or I know what my numbers look like. But what they fail to realize is that most of those conversations are not rooted in anything, right? The person on the other end of the phone doesn't know you. They don't know that you're calling. They have no ability to go look you up before they're now on a phone call with you, right? They don't have any of that opportunity. And one of the pieces to all of what we're talking about is, in my opinion, being able to build relationships at scale, which is what we're doing, right? That is what Instagram allows us to do, build relationships and do it at scale so that we can have more face-to-face conversations with better and people that are more right for our businesses, right? All of that starts with connection. Is there connection? Is there some form of connective piece between the two of us that makes me want to spend more time with you? And I can tell you right now, and I can tell anybody listening, that depending on the type of content you put out, I can make that assumption early on, right? I can create a movement in my own brain where I will look at something that you've posted and say, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I need to know you, right? And, or I don't know who you are, but you just posted about this and I feel connected to you. And that's what this is about. So what I want people to hear, both Daniel and I say, is creating relationships at scale starts with two main things. Number one, who are you as a person? And are you comfortable with showing up as you? Because at the end of the day, that is what I'm hiring. So why are you trying to be anybody else, right? Think about it that way. And then the second thing is connection, right? Are you focused on creating a true connection with an individual so that when you do fill your day with meetings, or you do fill your days with face-to-face appointments, they are appointments with the right people that will make sure your business is here to stay. If you enjoyed this episode, please go follow my guests on social media. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please consider leaving us a review wherever you consume this content.